Oh yeah, the Melbourne and Brisbane, Gold Coast game. Yeah, that was a really good game of footy that Gold Coast could easily have won. They're in great form at the moment. They've won, I think, 3 of their last 4 games. A couple of those wins have been interstate, so they're probably in as good a purple patches as they've been in for quite a few years.
What do you think's changed for them a year ago? How they got that up to them?
I just think they've drafted some really good young players in, and they just played more games of football together. That was our pathway to becoming a better team, and I think they've done that pretty well over the past few years. So it's sort of natural improvement, I think.
Rowell and Anderson have gone almost up another level since Miller's injury. But it looks like they're a pretty big threat, aren't they? If they get running.
Yeah, that often happens when young blokes are given a little bit more responsibility. So when I saw Toot get injured, I wondered if that would be the case, and that's proven to be. But at the same time, coming up we've got a pretty good midfield too. So it'll be a great challenge for us, and it'll be a great challenge for them.
What challenge do their midfielders pose for your guys?
Well, they just, I think we might be around number 1 and number 2 in clearance and contested ball differential, I think. So they're just, Rowell and Anderson in particular, are just great players at getting their hands on the ball first. So that's the big challenge this week. Who can get their hands on the ball first? That'll play a big part in the game, as it does most weeks. I guess we always talk about that, but this week it is truly 2 genuine good midfields going against each other.
Could it come down to how deep you bat?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we probably put a few more players through there than what they do. It's just all to do with form on the day, rather than how many guys you've got that go through the midfield.
You've seen your guys motivated. You talk about 1 versus 2. It's a stat that came off your tongue quite quickly. It's obviously something that you guys are aware of. Have you seen more that your players are motivated to step up against the team that does the same things really well in the same areas?
Yeah, I think that's natural enough. Our guys are natural competitors in the midfield, so they'll want to do well in there. When you say it's a stat that we must be aware of, I mean, we're aware of every stat of every opposition team that we play every week. We know what they're good at and we know what they're not so good at. So that's just one that's pretty obvious, I think, from anyone who's been watching the game.
You've beaten them 8 times in a row. It wasn't that long ago that you were the team breaking hoodoos and breaking long runs of losses against other clubs. What challenge does that present you, do you think, in this instance, trying to hold a team at bay that's trying to snap along losing streak like this?
Oh, well, that's their motivation. Our motivation is to keep our winning streak going. We feel like we've been in some good form, and it's another opportunity. If you look at some of the other fixtures this weekend, if we can do well, then it helps us advance up the ladder and stay in that top 4. So I wouldn't have thought our motivation is any less than theirs. We want to win every time that we play. Our players are a proud group. It's Indigenous round. We've got some really good Indigenous players that'll be out there playing, and we'll be highly motivated for that.
Do you think you've got a mental edge over them, given the proximity of the teams and that sort of that narrative as well? Do you think that sort of working over the whole game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, back when we used to have those, long losing streaks against teams that we wanted to beat, we didn't feel like we went into those games with those teams having a mental edge over them. We just felt like we hadn't become a good enough team yet to beat them. So I think Gold Coast would have that belief now that they can. They had some good games against us last year, and they would feel like they're growing. So I expect that they'll be a confident group turning up on Saturday night.
What do you take out of last week against this? It was a funny game. Second half, it started to get stick. All seemed to be, I don't know, it seemed to hold on.
It was a bit fumbly in the first half, yeah. Second half we weren't. The game last week, all the stats told us at half time we should have been well in front, but we weren't. And we just had to adjust a couple of things in the way that we were structuring up to take advantage of some areas where we were dominant. So we were able to do that at half time. The players stayed pretty composed, and our second half was pretty impressive, I think.
You've given Harry Sharp a chance the last couple of weeks. What have you seen from him?
Oh, well, obviously his run, we all know about that. Over the last 2 or 3 years, he's gotten into the gym and his body's got a bit bigger and stronger, which was something that he needed to work on. So he's going better in those contested situations now. And he's like a lot of other young blokes. He just needs games in a row now, I think, to make him feel like he really belongs at the level.
How close are Richie and Darcy Carter?
So Darcy played in the reserves last week. His game time was a little bit restricted as we managed him back in, but he got through, and so he'll go around again this week, but not in the seniors. And I think Daniel will at least be another week away. We're going pretty carefully with him. He's running again and feeling pretty good, but it's not one we have any urgency around. We just want to make sure that when he comes back in, he's rock solid.
Dane said he was a bit nervous for the first 15 minutes last week with the hammy, but then he played well. I guess is it a case of managing him or just sort of let him go?
We managed him last week. I was the one that was getting nervous about halfway through the last quarter. I thought, maybe we should get him off, so we did. But he pulled up fine. He was running around well on Tuesday. He has no worries. So if he has to play a full game this week, he'll play a full game.
He's proud, and we know how good a pressure player he is, but sometimes when he's not there, you notice the first tackle of the match, it was just straight off.
Yeah, it was an important tackle because Essendon are really good at scoring from centre bounce, so we had a big focus on that coming into the game, and I think Oscar laid a tackle first, and then Zorks got the next tackle, and we got the free kick. So it was a good positive way to start a centre bounce because they could easily have got the clearance. So good pressure from those two was a good way to start.
When it comes to selection, Chris, do you use some horses for horses, or do you just try and keep the same?
No, I feel like we mostly only replace for injury purposes unless there's a really obvious reason to pick another small or to pick another tall, but that won't be the case this week.
Chris, there was a story last night that there's movement in the Hawthorn investigation towards mediation next week. Is that something that you're aware of? Is that something you've agreed to mediation?
No, that's not something I'm aware of, and it's not something that we've agreed to, so I didn't even know about the story. So maybe I'll hear something today, but I can't really comment because I don't know.
One of the things that came out of it was words cultural insensitivity is the way people seem to be coming towards that. Is that something that's been put to you, a term that's been put to you or raised with you in any conversations?
No, but I know I'm not guilty of racism nor cultural insensitivity, so that's where I stand on it.
Chris, what do you make of the day grand final? What's the name? Confirmation again. You are happy with that?
I'll just be happy to be in the grand final. I couldn't care less when it's played. I mean, it's been played in the daytime for years and years and years. Maybe one day they'll change it, but it's not something that I think a great deal about. I don't know how. Some people may be passionate about it, but I'm not.